Thank you for joining us at XM.com for this Forex Preview video. We'll be having a look at the Bank of Canada policy meeting and, of course, the outlook for the Loonie. I'm Christina Marujos, and joining me today is Rafi Boyadjian, Senior Investment Analyst. The Bank of Canada is due to hold its latest policy meeting on Wednesday, and so far the economy has been recovering faster than expected, and vaccinations are also gathering pace despite initially getting off to a slow start. So what is the Bank of Canada likely to decide this week?
So, Christina, that is correct. So we did have those stronger than expected GDP numbers for the fourth quarter, and vaccinations are gathering pace. So all of that bodes well for the recovery later in the year. And in addition to that, we have a booming housing market in Canada. And most recently, if we look at the January numbers for trade for Canada, we are seeing surging exports to the United States. Of course, the US is Canada's biggest export destination. So again, we've got those additional boosts to the Canadian economy. And of course, let's not forget about the rally in oil prices, and with Canada being a major exporter of oil and the energy industry being such a huge contributor to Canada's economy. So all of that definitely means that we should see even stronger growth in 2021. So we're not expecting any changes from the Bank of Canada on Wednesday. They are expected to keep policy unchanged. So the main focus therefore will be what the bank is going to signal about its policy path. Are they going to suggest that we might start to see a tapering coming up, or are they going to try to stay cautious and try to say that there's still too many risks ahead? So the language in the statement is going to be really the main highlight.
And now turning to the Loonie, the Canadian dollar has joined its commodity-linked peers to rally sharply against the US dollar. Although the rally has currently taken a bit of a pause, the outlook remains bullish. Does the Bank of Canada pose any threats to this picture?
Well, that is indeed an interesting question. So the exchange rate is important. The Bank of Canada definitely keeps an eye on it. But are they willing to really at this point try to talk the currency down? So far, they haven't really tried to do that. And it's going to be really hard when everything else is looking up for the Bank of Canada to justify, trying to pretend that it's being dovish, because the market will probably not buy that. So nevertheless, we might see, if not at this meeting, then perhaps in the upcoming meetings, perhaps the exchange rate becoming a bigger focus for policymakers if the Loonie continues to rally, because it is currently trading near 3-year highs against the US dollar. Now, much of that rally so far has been driven by this global optimism around the economic recovery around the world based on the stimulus packages in the US and the vaccinations around the world. But there are also strong fundamentals for the Canadian economy too, which means the Loonie is being driven by its own fundamentals, not just the global optimism, because the stimulus in the US should benefit Canada too, because if consumption goes up in the US, that's going to mean more demand for Canadian exports. We are seeing, of course, as you mentioned earlier, the vaccination speeding up in Canada too after somewhat of a slow start. And we've got the ongoing rally in oil prices. And we're seeing the result of this being played out in the 10-year yield for Canada's government bonds. Canada's 10-year yield is catching up with the US yields. So all of that means that we really do have a fairly bullish outlook for the Loonie. And so over the coming months, we should see that picture staying true. But as far as the Bank of Canada is concerned, they might try to perhaps play it cautiously for a few more months until the recovery is on a more stronger footing. But in reality, it's going to be a bit of a struggle for policymakers to keep the Loonie down.
Rafi, thank you for joining me today. And thank you for watching this Forex Preview on the Bank of Canada policy meeting here at XM.com.